Links to my channel here over at Subscribestar, now over at Odyssey. I swear to God, YouTube videos are getting harder and harder to get through without just springing out and dropping a bunch of hot words, which unfortunately they're not allowing us to say. So if you look at this image on screen, I know the cartoon image will, if you've seen the cartoon, see how bad it is, fill you with rage perhaps, but you might notice that there's somebody missing. Yeah, okay, Leonard Nimoy as Spock. Great character, people liked him, but you're really missing, like, the main character in the background should have been this guy right here, like the Darth Vader images in the background, where he's the kind of the main, core of the story. So William Shatner versus woke Paramount. Does Paramount feel threatened by the character? Yeah, obviously, for the simple reason that people liked the character. And it really is just as simple as this, is that they cannot allow anything you, the customer, like. Which is, where you have the option of gatekeeping, you have to gatekeep out these people. And because otherwise they use the diversity, inclusion, and equity thing. Like, we want to make this stuff inclusive for everyone. You got to go right from the start, go, no, this isn't for everyone. This is for a specific group of people. If you want to come into something and change it, then what's the point? It wasn't meant for you in the first place. Go start your own thing. You're not being inclusive. Yes, I know. That's the point. This is for this group of people. Go make your own thing. Or if you want to come into this, you have to accept it as it is. And that's not how the parasites work. They get into something. It could be anything, any group of people doing something that they enjoy, and they get in there and they want to change it. They start changing. They get control of they become mods. They get control of the boards, and they start changing it. Like, oh, what have we done? We've destroyed it. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be anything. And then they destroy it, and then they walk away from it, and then they just go to something else to destroy it. People are like, oh, I guess we really should have kept you out in the first. Oh, but you're being istophobic. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. We can do. But we'll do a social media campaign. We'll destroy you for being istophobic. You don't want to be involved in whatever we're doing in the first place. You just want to destroy it because you see a group of people having a good time, and that's it. It really is just that's not. Well, I mean, a group of people who look like you and me, basically, is the reality on the ground of what it comes down to. So what happened with this is they had to replace it with POX BLTs that fight the patriarchy. Where I don't know if you saw the first episode of STD a couple of years ago when that came out. They had that was CBS's Paramount, I guess, at the time or something. That was on YouTube, the first couple episodes, for free, and it's like, well, that was worth what you paid for it. So I believe the first episode of that, they had the stupid blonde man, who is of course an arrogant douche, because he's blonde, is warned by the super Mary Sue POC WOC not to do something stupid that blonde men are just always finding themselves doing, and fly his spaceship into a moon and delete himself. Except that the incompetent blonde man, who's so arrogant and whatever, flies his ship into the moon and deletes himself because blondes are so incompetent, and the Mary Sue POCs are so super smart. I mean, like I said, I've got Mary Sue PTSD. I just can't watch any of that kind of stuff anymore. Except, of course, the blonde men invented the science of rocketry in the 30s, and space flight. They actually invented that. In fact, they created the countries that built the infrastructure that allowed the universities that gave rise to the blonde men who advanced the physics and actually engineering and built the rockets, 100 years ago. And actually, that level of physics was not developed in the POX country, or really any physics at all. So the whole thing is kind of weird when they make comparisons about how incompetent, the blonde men are. And then there's the image of the blonde guy standing next to his rocket engine. And you're like, wait a minute. They invented this science. Oh, well, Star Trek is in the future. Yeah, but it's still an Earth-based 616 universe. Way to cross the streams there, buddy. It's still invented by European, that triangle of European invention, Western Europe. It's like they're still the ones who created it. Well, you're just being istophobic or something. So what this is part of the humiliation ritual, where they push a narrative that just gets more and more absurd, and they call you istophobic if you point out how stupid it is. And this is the benefit of a lot of guys are a little bit on the autistic scale, where we just point things out and we don't get the political correctness of it. Like, oh, you're not supposed to say that, and you go, why not? It's the truth. Oh, well, and they don't have a counter argument to that. It's like that's why the left can't meme, because they have to use they're really verbose in their descriptions, and with a lot of doublespeak, where they try to confuse you by just presenting a conclusion, but their argument is just nonsensical, and you trace it through, and you're like, yeah, you're not actually the issue doesn't lead logically to this conclusion, and then you just call people istophobic when they start offering counter. That's why they don't like to define things, because once you define something and start nailing it down, then people build up a cross examination and they start deconstructing your liberal argument, because it's just built on nothing. Anyway, we're at the point now where they successfully have made facts istophobic. If they're offended, it's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't change the reality on the ground. Anyway, or they'll say Star Trek was always woke or something. What can they say? They say that with comics too. They say with a lot of old stuff. At least people enjoy the old stuff. And the thing is, you can go find the old, whether it's comics or Star Trek or whatever, for yourself and read through it, and you go like, yeah, it's not really that heavy-handed. So apparently you're doing, and then you can compare it to modern stuff. The worst example was I think American Chavez. That was insane. I mean, it's like all you have are straw men. Yeah, is that not allowed? Yeah, that's not allowed. That's not making for good stories. Where people are hired to write stories or work in this entertainment industry just based on their imaginary Bolshevik oppression points. So for whatever magical reason, people enjoy the old stuff and they're just not watching the new feminist pox crap. Probably because it's woke dog shit written by queef-huffing Bolsheviks. So erasing William Shatner is more than, and the guy's like almost 100 years old and he's still having a good time on Twitter, is more than this. It's what Bolsheviks do. They destroy the past so people can't compare it 1984 style. Or, I mean, if you want to know what's going on in current year, it's like start with Animal Farm and then read 1984. You're like, oh, this sums it up perfectly. It's like, just in those two books, like just Animal Farm alone sums things up. Anyway, they don't want people looking at the older stuff that people liked and then compare it to this new monkeypox propaganda and ask, well, why don't you guys just make stuff like the old stuff? Oh, you some kind of istophobe? Yeah, whatever, but answer the question. Oh, well, and they don't have a counter argument because all they have is deflection and straw man. Where it really is that obvious when you talk to these people, where they immediately deflect to something else, and it is just a pleasure to get on Twitter and point out their deflections, and then they keep deflecting away from that. And like, you really don't have a counter argument other than you're making propaganda, or these people are literally Bolsheviks. So the truth is, they have to race swap everything for their cultural bullshit reasons. That's it. The globalists told them it's diverse, inclusive, and equitable. But nobody wants that. We have different values, and their values are absolute garbage. And because it's not like they don't even believe the things they're saying, because you look at their personal lives and you go like, oh, you're pushing all this tribe mixing type of stuff through the media, but then you look at their personal lives like, oh, you don't follow the things you're actually saying for other. I mean, it's the celebrities in gated communities who are telling you one thing, living with armed guards in gated communities. You're like, yeah, but you're insulated by wealth, and all the policies you're pushing are hurting us because we're not insulated by wealth. Anyway, they seem to think that they know better than you because they're filthy cunts. It's the same mentality that starved millions of people to death in China and Russia and all over the world, where they're pushing that stuff. Eventually, normies will work up the courage to just say, yeah, diversity is cancer. You have to say it with a straight face, and that you're not, you don't get why it's so offensive to them to say that. Like, yeah, I'm just not into that. The past few years, I've really become very, very tribal. All the BLM stuff and the violence, I'm super tribal now. If you can master the straight face and not let your voice give it away, it's a trip to talk to people, especially IRL. And you find out a lot of people agree with you too. Or the thing is, like with the cancerous diversity, you can say like, well, at least the way it's done now, it's just pandering. It feels like a lot of it's a soft bigotry of lowered expectations, where in older storytelling, the good guys were the good guys. They built everyone up equally, where now it's simply like hair color and eye color. I can tell you protagonists and antagonists simply on hair color. It's really that one dimensional. It's like it's a correlation chart, and they don't elevate people. They put down the blonde haired people. And I know I harp on that all the time, but if you keep that in mind when you watch modern things or read comics, you'll have your own eureka moment where it's just like you see it and you're like, oh, this has been going on for a long time. Where every POC is a Mary Sue, and blonde people are just so incompetent that they walk into walls, that kind of stupidity. You can admit that the people at Paramount are anti-white. And once you overlay that filter over the SJW's behavior, it all starts to make sense. They just hate you. It's not that deep, though. We probably could have had more of her. What was it, like 6 of 9 or something? The globalists don't want you to have an opportunity to look at the past Star Trek, the pre-woke good times, and realize that people used to make fun stories, not heavy-handed propaganda. The whole thing is pointless because the modern woke stuff of any genre doesn't sell. Tell me, point to an IP that has been improved by woke propaganda. Even Star Wars, the Disney version, is going to disappear in a few years. It has no cultural impact at all. I mean, if you go back on YouTube and look at the videos of early 77 Star Wars when it came out and the crowd reaction to that and people waiting in line, you're like, what have they done? They have destroyed something beautiful. Anyway, bullshit found family stories don't connect with the viewer because they're literally propaganda. None of it is organic. Organic stories are the original Lord of the Rings or 77 Star Wars, the modern, or even the Willow, the original 80s Willow with Val Kilmer. What a fun movie that was. The modern remake of these and The Witcher and Willow and Peter Pan and all this, like Peter Pan. Yeah, there's a lot of these remakes that come out that you're not even watching because they're so bad. Or what was it? Little Mermaid came out, or all the rest where they're race swapping the characters, and you simply have to look at it like put your a little bit of autistic male brain filter on, and just keep asking obvious questions and pretend that you don't understand the political correct aspects of it, and realize the race swapping fundamentally changes the thing. They take an organic tribal story, which is the artist's original vision, and turned it into Pravda because they're globalists. The only point of all the stories is to erase the European people who created them. And you know what an insult it is to the artists to do this kind of stuff where they crap all over their original vision. And like I was saying, I saw the original Star Trek on I think Crack-A-Lactica's channel on Odyssey. You'll play old movies. And there were scenes where in the fighter pilots, and I don't even remember, they had like Porkins, the fat guy, named him Pork. And there was a black guy in flying one of the the X-wings. I didn't even notice at the time because you're a kid, you're even as adults like, okay, you don't care if that's the artist's original vision. It's like, yeah, oh, it was diverse at the time, but it just wasn't so heavy-handed. It just wasn't in every scene, but they were in the scenes. They were letting you know, like, oh yeah, this is there's going to be humans from all different tribes, are Asians and Africans and Europeans and whatever in the original Star Wars. Like, okay, that's the artist's original vision. Can you just stick to that? No. The only reason they buy the IP is like, who was that guy who, the book that I just did a video on where, the book came out like 20 years ago and it was made into 2 movies in 2005 and they didn't take off. The movies didn't do too well, so the Disney's doing a streaming version of them. Was it like Percy and it's the Greek mythology? I did a video on that. I think I put it in the members only section because it's hard to do it and be politically correct. Where they race swapped all the characters except for the main character. So there's like an Indian and another POC in there and they never explain why they do it. And you go like, yeah, but that's not the artist's original vision. Like, oh, the artist is on board with it. The only reason Disney bought the property, like when Disney approaches him to talk about this, and go, hey, we're going to buy this for streaming, but we want to change some things, and that's contingent on the sale. And the writer's totally on board with it. Like, he's woke too. And it's mainly a question of the money. It's like, okay, here's a few $1 million for the rights to stream this, but we're gonna make the 2 side characters POCs. And the guy's like, yeah, go for it. I mean, as long as the check clears, I don't give a shit what you do with it. And he's probably woke too. But then you think, so in 2000, 20 years ago, when you wrote the story, how come you didn't make the characters POC at the time? And the truth of the matter is, because it wouldn't have sold. Oh, okay. So why are you swapping it now? Because Disney offered me money to swap it. And is the streaming show going to sell? No. but it doesn't matter because Disney's willing to pay for it. That's really what it boils down to. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Oh yeah, I guess I'll use that as the thumbnail. That's the image you should have done. It's like with Star Trek, it would have been Darth Vader in the background, like they used on those old posters. Something like this, because like what do you think of Star Trek? You think of his ham-fisted acting, which is great. I hope he's not listening to this. I'm sure he's not. People love him for that. They even like the silliness of his dramatic pauses, where it's been lampooned for 50 years, and a love character. And God, he was even in a Sandra Bullock movie, and he had one line that made me laugh out loud, where I think it was the sequel, him and Sandra Bullock are being held hostage or something. And he's trying to explain how valuable his life is, and he's like 300 pounds in that, and he says, I'm younger than I look, or something like that. Way to butcher it. I know, but hey. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.